Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of All Effed Up. I hope everyone's having a good week, just trying to get through. It seems like every week's just another countdown to the weekend, even though I really don't do anything on the weekends either. I don't have quite the social life that I used to, but I guess that happens as you get older and you become a parent. You just don't have the time to devote to doing things like that anymore. And, and also kind of you just don't really want to either. As I've gotten older, I've just kind of decided that I would rather spend more time at home kind of doing my own thing. I've kind of worn myself out socially, especially in my 20s, because you went out and did things all the time. I hung out with people constantly. I was never alone, and just kind of like I said, just kind of worn myself out. But anyways, let's get into today's episode. Welcome back. I just hope everyone's doing well. Doing well as you can do. If you're anything like me, and like I said, you're dealing with anxieties or anything like that, you worry about shit. I know I worry constantly about things. A lot of things I shouldn't worry about, but for instance, I worry about leaving my kid in the back of the car, on my way to work and everything, even though I know I won't. I'll always drop them off. I can't help, but think that because you hear so many horror stories about kids getting left in the back of the cars, and it's always in the fucking dead of summer, too. You don't know why that happens or how a parent can get so distracted or whatever and forget about their kid, but, I know there's certain circumstances or whatever where it just happens. But anyways, I worry that I'm going to leave my kid in the back of the car so much that sometimes, even though I know I just dropped him off, I just left the daycare center, I am thinking, I have to check in the backseat of my car. I'll be driving down the fucking highway and I'll still look in the backseat of my car because I think I left this kid in the backseat, but I know I didn't. But because of my anxiety and just constant paranoia about things like that, I think that I did it. But like I said, I know I didn't, but it's still, I can't help myself from looking back there, and it's just on the very long list of things that I worry about. Like, another thing I worry about is, I'm at a point where I have a really good job now, and financially it's the best job I've ever had, and I'm constantly worried I'm going to lose it. I can't help it. I'm not sure why I worry about it. I mean, some of it I know why I worry, just because a kind of a tone was set. But, I constantly worry I'm going to lose my job and all that shit, and I worry about, did I reply to that email, or did I do this before I left the office? And it's just one of those things where you can't help it. You fucking constantly worry about little things, big things, anything in between. You're just constantly worried that you did this or didn't do that or whatever. But, so that's what we're going to talk about today. Just how, we know that we can't help it. And, you try to not worry about these things. And you just kind of got to give yourself a break. You can't worry about these things, even though they might be big things, might be little things. But you can't let them, more or less rule your life. You can't let them just take up every free thought that you have, that you forgot something. And it was also something I constantly worried about when I worked in a factory, because my particular job, I would have to fill things up with a valve, and I constantly worried, did I turn that valve off? Then I get there and sometimes that shit be overflowing all the goddamn place, but it just happened that way. And I'm not saying worrying's a bad thing. You should be concerned at least, or show that you care for your job or whatever the situation may be, but you can't drive yourself nuts about it, because you will never find a moment of peace if you're constantly worried about shit. If you're constantly worried about, did I turn the fucking oven off, or did I close the door, lock the door? I worry about if I locked my car because I'm concerned or worried some little shit's gonna get my car and take whatever is not bolted down. In some cases, that's, they might take shit that's bolted down too, because you got people that have become so well trained at getting into cars and just they're in and out within seconds or minutes, and they stole your whole goddamn stereo system. But that's not something I'm too concerned about where I live, because I live in a halfway decent neighborhood. But anyways, you just, like I said, you can't constantly have those thoughts on your brain, because you will make yourself crazy. Crazy makes you crazy, as one of my favorite comedians says. You can't be around the people that make you constantly question or worry or anything like that, because, like I said, crazy makes you crazy, and you don't want to spend your life doing that kind of shit. And just more or less, I think it just comes down to, you have to kind of train yourself to not worry so much about the little things. And, you have to just learn to get by and not, constantly have these things at the top of your list where you can't think of anything else. You have to learn to, kind of set these things aside so you can learn to breathe with ease again, so you're not just fucking constantly wound up so tight that you can't do anything. Do anything to enjoy your day, or do anything to just anything in general, where you're just a constant fucking mess because you're worried, did I do this? Did I do that? Did I forget something at home? Did I lock my car? Did I lock the house? And all this other crap. And it's just a really stressful way to live. And it's something that I constantly deal with, because, like I said, I worry about whether or not I left my kid in the back of the car, even though I will never do that. I don't imagine any scenario that I get so distracted or something that I leave my kid in the back of the car. That's just never gonna fucking happen. But nevertheless, it's something I worry about, because I hear so many horror stories, and like I said, it's always at the fucking high point of summer where these kids are getting left back in the cars, and it turns out to be the worst case scenario. And with your kids, yeah, you're gonna imagine every worst case scenario, just because there are so many fucking terrible parents out there, and people that have no business having kids. But being a good parent, that's one thing that I can kind of boast about myself. I know I'm a fucking awesome parent. I dote on my kids every chance I get, and I constantly worry about them and constantly make sure that they have everything they need and want and everything that I could possibly think of. But because I have these fucking anxieties, I constantly worry about the worst possible things that can happen to them. And, that I'm sure that crosses every parent's mind, the worst possible thing, because we lived in such a fucked up world anymore. And it's just something that will just drive you fucking nuts. And I apologize for all the F-bombs, but I just kind of on a little rant here, because it's been a few days since I recorded. But it's just, like I said, it's one of those things. And these worries about little things, big things, you can't let them just overcome every aspect of your life. It's just, like I said, it's not any way to live. And, I don't really know what else I can really say about it. It's just, you need to kind of take time for yourself. You need to work on these things. I'm constantly working on them, trying not to be worried about every little thing that could go wrong in my life, but that's just kind of the way my brain is programmed, where I can't help it. I just imagine that, the worst things are going to happen to me just because I have terrible luck. I just believe that my luck is so awful that every worst case scenario is coming my fucking way, and there's nothing I can do about it. And I'm sure there's other people out there that feel the same way, where they're just constantly driving themselves crazy, worried that, like I said, maybe they left their fucking car running or something, and someone's going to come by and take it. That's why I don't leave my car running outside of gas stations, because I'm so fucking convinced. I mean, it's kind of the area I live in too, but I'm so convinced that someone's going to hop in that bitch and drive away, and then I will have to deal with all the consequences that come with that. I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if I had to get a new car, but on the other side, I have a car that's paid for now, and I don't want to deal with that stuff again. But, it's just crazy where you can take these situations and build them so much in your head that they just kind of make your head feel like it could explode. Just constantly in this place where you're just overcome with this anxiety of every possible thing that could go wrong. You just think, if it can go wrong, it will. And it's not an attitude that you want to have. But when you're in that kind of worried state of mind, sometimes it's unavoidable. I have tried not to constantly have that. It's a problem like many of my other problems that I'm working on daily, through this and just through trying to appreciate the little things too, where, I will have a day at work, and once it gets towards the end of the day, I am just so excited just to go pick up and see my son. It's just those little things that you have to appreciate, and turn off that fucking worry, that little voice in your head that's telling you to worry about this and that when that shit doesn't matter to begin with, or it shouldn't worry you as much as it does. And I know that's a lot easier said than done, trust me, I know. But like I said, it's just training your brain not to worry about these things, or there's other options out there. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, I can't really recommend anything, but in my experience, I'm just, in those times that I'm worried that I left my son in the car, I just have to remember, I just dropped him off. I know I didn't leave him in the goddamn car. I'll have days where I'll have gotten through my work day and I feel like that I might see him in the back of the car when I get in to leave the office. But I know that's not true. Like I said, I can never imagine a situation where I get so distracted or whatever that I forget my kids in the back of my car. But anyways, that's just kind of what I wanted to touch on today. This might be kind of a quick episode. I kind of jumped into it today. I didn't really have anything planned. I didn't really have any notes or anything put out in front of me like I usually do. But anyways, I think that's how we're going to wrap it up today. Just take a second, take a breather, train your brain to kind of get past these things. And, as always, you can catch me now on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. I'm working on a YouTube page. I'm going to try some on-camera work. That's some of my own anxiety I need to get over, because I don't particularly think I'm that attractive, so it really kind of affects how I feel on camera and everything, and just, it's one of my own little battles that I'm working on. But I did create that page, and it is live with all the past episodes, so you can at least go on there if YouTube's more your speed and you want to log on to that page and listen to the past episodes or whatever on there. They are on there now. They're ready to go. But anyways, for anyone that listens, I appreciate it. I appreciate your support, and I will catch you next time. Take it easy.